Glad you made it back, everybody, here to the Chris Salcedo Show. California regulators are set to ban the sale of new gasoline cars by 2035. Forget the fact that pretty much all the electric grid's power comes from fossil fuels like petroleum or coal, and forget the supply chain crisis, and forget the fact that the batteries used in these cars are toxic and, well, limit people's movements due to their limited range. For more on this, let's bring in Chairman of Reform California, host of the DeMaio Report, and former San Diego City Council member Carl DeMaio. Great to see you, Carl, as always. So, nobody has ever accused Gavin Newsom of thinking. But has it occurred to him, do you think, that there aren't enough raw materials currently available to complete even one generation of new EV cars? And has he considered that it costs more to recycle these lithium batteries than it does to produce them? That means these toxic batteries are soon going to be filling up all of your California landfills out there. Your thoughts?
Chris, what we're seeing here is an untethered from reality attempt to make public policy by virtue signaling. The Democrats basically, before COVID-19, they scared their base using climate change. It is fear-based policymaking here. And so now they've got to deliver. And their base is all lathered up, all afraid that the world's going to end in 12 years, that the oceans are going to rise. And so they're telling these politicians in office, ban anything having to do with carbon, no matter what the price. Just last week we had a flex alert, which meant that in the middle of summer, we were told we had to use less energy, turn off our our air conditioners and whatnot, or else we would have brownouts and blackouts. The reality is this: we don't produce enough energy in California. 1 out of 3 of every kilowatt hours that we need, we have to import from other states. And so when there is a heat wave in the southeast or southwest, and it's natural, it's not climate change, it just happens, it's called weather, those states can't sell us their excess power. And so we are at a disadvantage. So in a state where we already don't have enough electricity, that we're not producing enough electricity, now they're saying we need to switch to all electric vehicles, which are very expensive, and as you just mentioned, are not reliable as gas-powered cars are. This is absolutely crazy. And Chris, think about it this way. The supply chain will not be able to handle this. The mandate actually is not 2035. It's not 12 years off. It is in 2 years that auto manufacturers have to have 1/3 of their cars sold as electric vehicles.
And Carl, there was an analysis done, I think it was introduced and read into the record in Congress, that if we were to switch over to all electric vehicles in this country, that the average household is going to be spending 4 times as much on energy, which is provided by what? Fossil fuels to charge up their cars. It's idiocy, especially out in California. I am from the People's Republic of California. I know how much it costs out there for everything. It's just through the roof. Carl, Joe Biden's Build Back Broke bill doesn't stop inflation, but it gives $390 billion to this so-called green energy boondoggle because green energy can't compete without these massive taxpayer subsidies. What will California do if the automobile manufacturers can't meet the demand from one of the largest markets, the largest market in the country for cars? Won't the people be harmed in the end?
Oh, they're already being harmed. We have the highest cost of living, the highest per kilowatt hour cost for electricity, 250% higher than the national average, the highest gas prices. The list goes on and on. That's why people are fleeing the state of California. They can no longer stomach living here, or they can no longer afford living here. But Chris, this is something that's important to all of your viewers, whether you live in California or not, because this mandate will have a disastrous impact on the supply chain for vehicles across the country. And so it'll make your vehicle more expensive if you're trying to buy it. We don't just have an auto market in California. This is a national or international auto market. And California literally is throwing a monkey wrench into this industry, this market, and everyone in America will end up paying the price.
Yeah. All right. Well, one last thing I want to get to you. Since the beginning of the pandemic, Californians leaving to red states in droves. California is becoming desperate. I mean, really desperate. Somebody put up these billboards in Los Angeles and San Francisco. They warn against moving to Texas by referencing the slaughter of 19 children who died in Uvalde. This is, I mean, I'm understating. This is vile. Do you suspect who did this, and do you think it's possible to find out who did this?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that they're from the left. Probably one of the George Soros funded groups, which it's not just funding from George Soros. Out here in California, taxpayer funds fund the left-wing groups. And what they don't want people to realize is that crime, homicides are skyrocketing here in California. Drug overdoses are skyrocketing in California, all because of Democrat policies. So if you want to do a body count, you are far safer in any other state but California when it comes to the public safety, the crime, and the gang and drug-related threats that we face.
Very, very well put. The blue cities, the blue states are the least safe in the United States. And you know what, Carl? If you can put, I know you have some bloodhounds out there. You put some people on finding out who's behind those billboards, we'll make them famous, I promise you. Carl DeMaio, thank you very much. Appreciate the time. When we get back.